Hello again. So now, after installing the vCenter, we need to use our web client to connect to the vCenter and get access to the option that we have in the vCenter. So in my lab, of course, this is my lab as I tell you, the two ESXi in another laptop and the domain controller and the vCenter and the web client will be in this laptop. So what I do, I minimize the domain controller, then I run the vCenter and minimize it inside my laptop. Then I use my laptop as a web client to connect to the server of the vCenter. In the real environment, the server of vCenter will be in the server room, and this browser will be from any laptop in the network that you use to manage your vCenter. So to connect to the vCenter, we can use the IP address or the domain name of the machine that have the vCenter. So in my situation, I will use the name vcenter.vmlab.ma and press enter to connect to the vCenter. Of course, you should have a connection between this laptop and the server that have the vCenter. Then, as you see, your connection is not private. This is simple. It's not a problem. Proceed to vCenter, and here is it, the user interface of the vCenter server. As you will see here, getting start. To access the vSphere log in 2, you can use the vSphere web client, the Flash version. That means you need to have a Flash version. And if you don't have the Flash version, you can use the vSphere client HTML5 partial functionality. The second one have a limit option. That means the interface, you will find only a little option that you can do it through the HTML5. If you want to get the full benefit of the vCenter, you need to use the Flash in your browser. There are another documentation and some other link. There are some information right here, and there are a picture of the vCenter server, how it look like in the real environment. So we need to use the vSphere web client with the Flash version. I already have a Flash in my browser. To view this page, ensure that the Adobe Flash Player version 11 or greater is installed. So, okay, now we use the latest version of the Flash, and here is it, the user interface or the single sign-on of the vCenter. This is an example of the username, the domain name .local. So we need to use the username that we created in the beginner. That means administrator vsphere.local, if you remember it, and the password that we created through the installation of the vSphere. So like that, and click login. Of course, if you want to use Windows Station, if you remember it, this option, it lets you to connect to the vCenter through a Windows Station or through a domain controller user if we chose to get the user from the domain name controller. So it takes a little time to load the vCenter server. So welcome to the vCenter server user interface through the web client. Let's get a quick overview about what you see here. So there are vCenter server system with expired license in your inventory. That means you need to buy the version of the vCenter. We're going to use only the evolution version. Here you see the name of vcenter.vmlab.ma. Of course, if you have more of the vCenter, you will see them right here. The different, if we chose to deploy the vCenter in different hosts, you will see them right here. Then we have the navigator. We have the vCenter VM lab, the option and the configuration of the vCenter. We have the recent object. We have the recent task, like the ESXi user interface. If we do any task, you will see them right here. We have work in progress. if we do some work and try to change something, then we don't need to repeat the work. We can put it in the process right here. And we have alarm tab. And here you see that we have the username administrator at vsphere.local. That means this is the user that we use. That means from the vsphere.local. If we connect through our Windows station, you will see the name of the user from the Windows. And if we use a username from the domain controller, you will see that the name arrobas vmlab.ma. We have some help right here, and we have the search tab right here. Of course, you have some information right here if you want to change the password, the layout setting of this layout right here, and some other information. Then, as the same as in the ESXi user interface, you have a same information right here with different options. For example, you see here the getting start, create a data center. That means the step that you need to follow is to create data center, add host, add virtual machine, complete the setup. Then we have some summary information about this vCenter. Like you see the name, the virtual machine we have 0, hosts, the resource used, the version, the build, etc. And some other information that we're going to see it one by one through the course. We have the data center if we have any data center, etc. The virtual machine, you can see the list of the virtual machine, etc. So in the next video, we'll start the first step is to create a data center and start discovering the option of the vCenter one by one through the course. So see you in the next video.